The rain fell in sheets, turning the streets of Chicago into a maze of glistening asphalt and hurried footsteps. In a narrow alley off Michigan Avenue, where the city's pulse faded into shadows, 17-year-old Lila crouched beneath a tattered awning. Her thin jacket clung to her frame, soaked through, and her stomach growled, a familiar ache she'd learned to ignore. In her hands, she cradled half a sandwich, stale bread and a smear of peanut butter, scavenged from a diner's discarded takeout. It was her only meal of the day, maybe the week. Lila's eyes, sharp despite her exhaustion, caught movement at the alley's mouth. A man shuffled in, his coat too thin for the biting November wind. He was older, maybe in his 60s, with matted hair and a face carved by hardship. He slumped against the wall, clutching a cardboard sign that read, "Anything helps." His hands trembled, not just from cold but from hunger, the kind Lila knew too well. She glanced at her sandwich, then at him. Her heart tugged, a quiet war between survival and something deeper. "Hey," she called softly, her voice nearly lost in the rain's patter. The man's head lifted, wary. She held out the sandwich, her fingers reluctant but steady. "It's not much, but you look like you need it more." He blinked, disbelief etching his features. "Kid, you're out here too. Keep it." Lila shook her head, a small smile breaking through. "I'll manage. Take it." She pressed the sandwich into his hands, her own stomach protesting. He hesitated, then took a bite, tears welling as he mumbled a thank you. They sat in silence, the rain their only companion, two strangers bound by a fleeting act of kindness. Across the street, high above in a glass-walled penthouse office, Ethan Caldwell watched. The CEO of Caldwell Enterprises, a titan of tech and real estate, was a man who'd built an empire from nothing. At 42, he was Chicago's golden son, wealthy, powerful, untouchable. But tonight, alone in his office, the city skyline felt like a cage. He'd been staring out the window, restless, when he saw the girl and the old man in the alley below. Something about her gesture, the way she gave without hesitation, stirred a memory he'd buried long ago. Ethan's childhood wasn't so different from Lila's. Raised in a crumbling apartment on the south side, he'd known hunger, the kind that gnawed at your pride as much as your body. A stranger's kindness, a grocer slipping him an apple, a teacher sharing her lunch, had kept him going. Those moments fueled his climb, but success had hardened him, insulated him from the world he'd left behind. Until now. He pressed a button on his desk. "Maria, get me down to the street. Now." Minutes later, Ethan stood in the alley, his tailored coat out of place amid the grime. Lila tensed, her instincts screaming caution. The old man, still clutching the sandwich, shuffled back. Ethan raised his hands, palms open. "I'm not here to cause trouble. I saw what you did. That was rare." Lila's eyes narrowed. "You some kind of creep, watching people from up there?" She jerked her chin toward the skyscraper. Ethan chuckled, the sound low and disarming. "Fair. I'm Ethan Caldwell. I work up there." He nodded to the building. "I saw you give him your food." "What?" She shrugged, brushing wet hair from her face. "He was hungry. I know what that's like." Ethan studied her, small, defiant, but with a spark that reminded him of himself at her age. "What's your name?" "Lila," she said, guarded. "What do you want?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he pulled out his phone, typed a quick message, and slipped it back into his pocket. "I want to offer you something. A job, a place to stay, a chance to get off the street. No strings." Lila laughed, sharp and bitter. "People like you don't just hand out miracles." "What's the catch?" "No catch," Ethan said, his voice steady. "I was you once. Someone gave me a shot, and I'm paying it forward. You don't trust me, I get it. But come with me, meet my team. See for yourself." She hesitated, glancing at the old man, who nodded slightly, as if to say, "Go." The rain slowed to a drizzle, and Lila's resolve wavered. She'd survived by trusting no one, but something in Ethan's eyes, raw, unguarded, felt real. "Fine," she said. "But if you're lying, I'm gone." The next morning, Lila stepped into Caldwell Enterprises, her worn sneakers squeaking on the marble floor. Maria, Ethan's assistant, led her to a conference room where a small team waited. They weren't what she expected, not suits, but people like her, a former foster kid, a recovering addict, a single mom who'd once been homeless. Ethan's second chance program, they explained, hired people the world overlooked, trained them, gave them purpose. Ethan watched from the back, arms crossed. He didn't tell Lila the full truth, that her act of kindness had shaken him, reminded him why he'd started this program years ago before success dulled his edges. He didn't tell her he'd already instructed his team to fast-track her, to give her not just a job but a scholarship, a future. Weeks passed. Lila thrived, her quick mind soaking up coding lessons, her grit earning her respect. She moved into a small apartment funded by the program, her first real home. The old man from the alley, whose name was Henry, became a regular at the company's outreach kitchen, another of Ethan's quiet projects. One evening, Lila found Ethan alone in his office, the city twinkling beyond. She held a letter, her acceptance to a tech apprenticeship. "Why me?" she asked, voice soft but firm. "You didn't know me. Why take the risk?" Ethan leaned back, the weight of years in his gaze. "Because you gave when you had nothing. That's who I want on my team. That's who changes the world." Lila nodded, a lump in her throat. She didn't say thank you. She didn't need to. The sandwich she'd shared had been a spark, igniting a chain of kindness that reached further than she'd ever imagined. Outside, Chicago glowed, a city of strangers and second chances, where one small act could ripple forever.